अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरु परम्पराम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येम अक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Let's chant the seventh mantra. न अन्तः प्रज्ञं न बहिष्प्रज्ञं न उभयतः प्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानघनं न प्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञम् अदृष्टम् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यम् अलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेश्यम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारं प्रपञ्च उपशमं शान्तं शिवम् अद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः. Again, this is you. It's all very, very interesting. It is really all about who you are. You know, we think we know who we are, but we really don't. It's an incomplete inventory. We are missing some very important parts. So the seventh mantra gives you, in reality, who you are. So, Sa Atma, Sa Vigneya, that is to be known. This is the seventh mantra. So, what we are doing here is examining our own understanding with respect to questions about it that naturally arise. So this is about the Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta Sampradaya. Sampradaya means exactly Samyak Pradati iti Sampradaya. One which is what is it being said? It's not a system, it's not a comparison or anything, but exactly what is it that Shastra is telling us? That's called Sampradaya. So in understanding that, we test it by raising questions about it. And the reason that these questions come up is because in our life, we are all doing something. So the whole life is about doing something. This is, as you know, we understand this by now, and I'm just revising it. So the karma becomes kind of like the tool for us to lead our life. And the karma is of different types. One karma, if you want to start with that, is a criminal action. Criminals, you know, people do criminal. There are so many murders every day in the world. And there's wars and so on. So that's one kind of karma. Then we have a kind of a normal karma, day-to-day life, preservation of our identity, our support of our children, etc. Then comes karma, which is based on an understanding of spirituality, who is God, what is my relationship to it, and all with respect to try to see how we can achieve a sense of freedom, moksha. That's the end point. So everybody is doing that, but they're doing it in terms of doing something. So this is the thing. And so it's a variety of viewpoints that are all based on doing something. And even in yoga, where you're just sitting and you're trying to meditate slowly, that's all the steps, the Ashtanga Yoga steps are also based on doing something. And there it is more mentally doing something, controlling your mind, etc., etc. So this is all from the viewpoint of a variety of viewpoints based all on doing something. Karma based. Here comes Vedanta, which says, may I just please tell you, karma is not what will make you free. What? Karma will not make me free? What else? There's nothing else in life to do. I don't feel well as I am. I've got to do something to make me better. This is what everybody is in one form or the other. You have yoga, you have Sankhya, you have Buddhism, everything, and even Karma Kanda, of part of Hinduism. But the Vedanta comes in and says, no, nothing to be done. So, and it's not as though we are trying to convince everybody that you are doing something wrong. You need to convince yourself why the Vedanta Sampradaya works. Not anybody, it's not proselytizing, it's not telling anybody, it's not meant for that, as we have gone through this. All of our acharyas really pointed this out very clearly. It is for your own understanding. And the way to test your understanding is to pose some very structured questions to yourself. You almost like sit in the benches of the Purva Paksha, and you do this, what is called Akshepa. Akshepa means that you ask some very tough questions. This is exactly how the subtle thoughts have to be used in order to clarify the reality of something. This is the very fundamental part of judiciary. You have local courts, then you have more intermediate courts, and finally you have the Supreme Court. And so all it is examining both sides of it. And so this is exactly what the Brahma Sutra is. The Brahma Sutra is the highest form of judiciary. And the idea is not to publicize it or to proselytize this or anything, but it is just a structured way of asking questions to yourself. It's an inner court, final court. This is the Supreme Court. Anyway, that's a separate thing. But here, we ask ourselves, okay, where are your doubts? How come you don't think Vedanta will work? So we have done this in 3 different ways. So one is, how can you achieve results without doing anything? Okay, so we took that as the first question. Then the second question was, show me a proof that this can work. Right? So that's the second one, and I think we went through quite a bit of the discussion about this one. The third one is, how does it work? Sadhana. Because we know when we do something that we know what these sadhanas are, either physically doing something or doing something to grasp from something mentally. It also is a work. So either one is a physical work, the other one is mental work. So all that we know. But here you're saying nothing should be done. It's not capable of doing anything. How is that going to work? Tell me. What is the sadhana then? Because everything requires a method. What is your method? This is what we are going to now examine, starting with today's class. Okay. So we start this discussion by clarifying that all doing starts with a doer, right? So if you want to make coffee, you are the one who wants to make a coffee, and then you do whatever is necessary to pour some water, some coffee, to boil it, and put, milk if you want, some sugar, etc. All of that is you have to do, and it's all based on, this whole action is based on you as a doer, karta, right? We know this. And similarly, if you want to think about something, supposing you have to reach somewhere through an investigation of knowledge of how to get there. So this is a mental action, mental karma. There also you are the karta, you are the doer, right? So whether it is physical or mental, it doesn't matter. The main thing is that it needs to have a doer. And then whether it is a physical or mental action depends upon, all is based on yourself as a doer, your ability, your dedication, your shraddha, your ability to gather everything that are required. So all of that is dependent on the karta. So that means for results of any kind, it is what is called, the results, the phalam, is what is called kartratantram. Kartratantram, this is a Sanskrit term, that all results of action are based on the doer. Your knowledge of what you need to be done, your ability to have enough things at your disposal to be able to do something. It's all based on you, your ability. isn't it? Now, contrasted from this is the nature of knowledge. Nature of knowledge, jnanam. So what about that? We know all about karma, that it is kartritantram. And it's all the samagri, all the things that you need to do something. That one we've already covered. Now let's talk about knowledge. What is the peculiarity about knowledge? The peculiarity about knowledge is that it is not kartritantram. It is not based on the doer. Really. It's not based on the doer. So what is it based? What does it depend on? It depends on the object that you want to know. So this is what is called, it is vastu tantram. Vastu means some entity. So the knowledge depends on the vastu, not on the karta. So that distinction is important for us to really ascertain and do the viveka of. So for example, you cannot take something other than what it exactly is. So if this is a pen, then it needs to be known exactly what it is. It's so interesting that I tell you, it's refreshing to have grandchildren. They teach you so much because they teach you how a person grows. So in this example of the pen, it just occurred to me because we have he's almost 1.5-year-old, Arjun. So he comes to our home at least once a week, and then we see him very often and so on. And if you observe him, he tries to understand what any object is. And what he does is he just grabs it, and on the level of his understanding, he behaves with that object on that level. So for example, this pen. He doesn't know what this pen is. I think he's almost on the verge of understanding what the pen is. But for the time being, what he would do is put it on his mouth. And I see him. He's trying to figure out different things. I'm just giving you one example, but just so many of them. And he misidentifies it. He doesn't quite understand what it is. His sister, who's now 3.5, has a much better understanding. She knows exactly not exactly, but she's also trying to see what things are and so on. So the level of growth in their understanding of their knowledge is remarkable to see. So now, in the case of Arjun, if you take this as a stick, that is not the right knowledge. And so it's not as though the knowledge of an object depends on the karta. No, it depends on the vastu, exactly what you need to see what it is. If you don't see what it is, you're ignorant. And so therefore you will probably misuse it in some fashion. I see him. He would take, something and color thing. I don't know. It's just a variety of things. Let's not go into the detail. So the Vastutantram is the basic element of jnana. So now we arrive at an important thing. For knowledge, other than removing the ignorance about what something is, there is no other sadhana necessary. In the case of karma, you have sadhanas that are necessary. Various kinds of sadhanas. And there are multiple sadhanas. Like, for example, supposing you want to go someplace, then there is a sadhana of jnanam. Where is it that you have to go? The understanding of, GPS and what roads to take. Then there is the physicality of it. You have to decide whether you want to walk. Is it too far to walk? Then how do you get there? All those kinds of things. And there are multiple sadhanas in a karma. But in the case of knowledge, what is necessary? You have a vastu in front of you. Okay? And the only thing that you need to correctly identify that is ignorance of what that is. So in this particular case, it's a pen. Okay? In case of myself, because Vedanta says that you have a wrong understanding of yourself. You are already a free entity. You are Vastu, you are Brahman. Beyond any problems. Aparichinnaha. You are, Brahman means it's big, that very noun. Without any satyam, jnanam, anantam, all those kinds of things. So it's about myself. This is what I need to understand. So now, myself, am I different from? Is it away from me like a pen can be? Right now, even if the pen is not away in a different room, it is right in front of me, I can see it, but it is different from me. So for that also, the jnana means that the understanding of exactly what this vastu is. But what about yourself? You are somebody. You cannot say, I'm not there. You can never say that. You can say something about this is not there. But can you ever say, I am not there? This is a huge discussion in the Brahma Sutra. Oh my gosh, I tell you, it's just going through the, I'm reading this, I don't know how many, every time I read this, yeah, I have some 2 volumes of Brahma Sutra. Huge discussion. It is not an ordinary discussion. So, in that discussion, I'll very briefly, the question is that, is the Atma something which you are, if Atma, it says there that it is not an object that you can see. You are the seer of the object, so it is not an object that you see. So it's not the object that you see, because what happens is that in our life, that includes our misunderstanding of the Atma, we're looking at something which is tangible. Yeah, that's a good word. Tangible. Tangibility. I should be able to see it, or smell it, or touch it, or memorize it. Something or the other, it must be there. And we say, no, it's none of this. Neti, neti, neti. No. If there is neti, then it must not be there, because my life only consists of tangibility. So, Shankara argues, Sri Shankara, Adi Shankara argues, no, it is very much there. You can, in fact, this is important for us to see, because how we behave in our life, it's not something very esoteric. This is exactly a description of our life. We're so busy with doing things. And we have absolutely no engagement, if you want to call that word, with the doer. Our ideas about am I happy, not happy, that also is to do with your mental capability, which you can see. That is also tangible. I'm a good person, I'm a bad person, tangible. Based on your memories, your vasanas, and so everything is based on tangibility. This is how we behave. Do you ever behave in terms of who am I? No. So there is an argument. This is also very similar. This is also an akshepa. Very, very detailed one. I don't know if I have to start another class on Brahma Sutra again. Because the first time we did that was, in my view, just like we're doing it here, cursory. But a more thorough one needs to be done. Anyway, I'll come back to the... so the point here is that my understanding of myself is based on a vastu that I'm trying to understand. It is like a vastu, like a pen, that it has to be understood. And that's an easy thing to understand. All you have to do is to find a child. I think now Arjun is up to it, and we can just tell him, Arjun, you know what it is? This is a pen that can be clicked, and now you cannot write on it. See this? Now you clip it, and now you can write. So this is a pen. Well, you probably will kind of like saying, what? And then you give it a name also. It's very important. And so then you can tell him, hey, Arjun, please bring me a pen. Oh, that one. So the name is important, the function is important. Then you know what it is. Jnanam, your ignorance of the pen is gone. But in terms of yourself, if you do not understand yourself not as a doer, because the doer is, as we will see in more detail later on, depends upon you as a human avatara. All of us are avatars. We have all fallen down from our reality. And at this stage, you and I are both our avatars. We have taken a human form. A human form. And so we are only dealing with the human form and its relationships with the world. That's all we're doing. But if Vedanta says, no, you are not just an avatara. You are more than that. You are actually someone who can take an avatara or may not. Or somebody much more much more than that. This is the vastu. There is a vastu. That vastu needs to be understood. How are you going to understand that? Is the vastu based on yourself as a karta? No, because that is passed to the karma. So if we really have two segments, one is the karma, which is based on the karta, and one is jnanam, which is based on a vastu. And karma is based on sadhana, multiple sadhanas as we saw. Jnanam is only based on the vastu. What is the vastu? You. You are the vastu. And other than removing ignorance about the vastu, there is nothing that you need to do. You cannot do anything about yourself. You just have to remove your ignorance about yourself. That's it. If you want to call it a sadhana, let it be. But it's not the way we use the word sadhana. There's no sadhana, no sadhya, no siddha, no nothing. It is just you. So, if that is the case, again, my question also will be, so, okay, I want to know that. But how? All right, now you are talking. So, make a firm distinction between you as the karta, that I am just a karta and I have to do something to get to that. You are a vastu that needs to understand who you are. That's all. That's it. Okay, now if you don't call it vastu, you don't want to call it karma, but what is it that we need to do? So I'm just taking some more words from it, that if the goal is not, it is partial completeness, partiality, any bheda, this is what we call bheda. Bheda is an interesting, very important word. Bheda means a difference. Means a difference. Means not the complete thing, but how it is different from something else. All of our knowledge of things in this life are based on bheda. And bheda means that it's a difference between various things. You can say the east versus the west is a bheda. Past versus the present is a bheda. It's all bheda jnanam. So for bheda jnanam, like for example, dhanam. Dhanam means wealth, right? Money. So what do you mean by wealth? The wealth means it's different from poverty, right? So dhanam and peace of mind and power, security, all those kinds are bhedas that require the appropriate means to get to that point, right? So now the question is, So this is what is called in Sanskrit apurnata. Apurnata means limitedness. But as we have seen, that I am looking for what my drishti, whether I am able to articulate on it or not, is a separate matter. But what I'm looking for that is not apurnata, but purnata. I want to be a complete being, not lacking in anything. This is what we all want. So the question is, how do I get to purnata? And that is the vastu, that is you. And you, who is the Purna? Just needs to understand that you are not apurna. For you to see that you are a complete being, not an incomplete being, the distinction between not Purnaha and being Purnaha needs to be understood. That's it. All right, fine. I want to understand that. Show me how. Okay. So let's take it at the highest level. We can do it in different levels, but let's look at the highest level. What is the highest level? Ishvara and Jiva. Ishvara and Jiva. All right, let's start with that. So there is Ishvara, which by our understanding, our definition, is Purna. Because if the Ishvara is not Purnaha, then he should not be called Ishvara, God. Because if God also is Apurnaha, then we've got problems. Because if he's also limited, he or she is limited, there must be somebody else. Isn't there going to be an eventual conflict? What we say in Hindi, takkar. It will happen. So no, we can't even visualize. That's not the kind of God that I'm visualizing. It is Purna. All right, so let us look at the expression of Purnatvam in Ishvara. All right, let's do that. Okay, in his lap, if you want to call it lap, his Purnatvam, his completeness, lies the entire cosmos. Entire cosmos. What is in Sanskrit, what in our Vedanta we call Brahmanda. Brahmanda means all the galaxies put all in it. So yes, human beings on the evening, on a night light, you see so many stars. And our scientific advancement also tells us that our sun is a very small star. It is form of our own, it's in our own galaxy. So there is a galaxy of there's like billions of stars in a given cluster together in a galaxy. That's only one galaxy. Then there are multiple galaxies. It's mind-boggling. Ishvara is, they're all contained in Ishvara, isn't it? They must. Everything that you see, whether it is in the stars or local or anything, must be part of Ishvara. because it is not somebody other than Ishvara, because it is not Apurnaha, it is Purnaha. Okay. In those Brahmanda, in the list of multiple billions of galaxies, there is our galaxy. Then in our galaxy, there is one sun who is our star in the galaxy. And revolving around our sun, which is part of our galaxy, there is the Earth, which is only one of many, many different revolving bodies. And now this one Earth, there is one country. And in one country, there is a city. It's all within the same part of the same Purnatvam. It's all different parts within Ishvara. So in one city, there is a house. And in one house, there is a room. And in one room, there is me with a body. And in me, there is somebody who is alive, moving, aware. I am an awareful being. So this is one segment of our understanding of the Vastu, and a correct one. There is nothing incorrect about it. This is what everybody should be able to see this. Okay, so this is Ishvara. So we said two things: Ishvara and Jiva. Now let's look at the Jiva. I see that I am a conscious person. What do you mean by a conscious person? I am aware of the fact that I have a body. Right? I am aware that I am the body. I am aware of the fact that myself as the body is in this room. I am aware of the fact that this room is in a house. I am aware of the fact that this house is in this city. I am aware of the fact that this city is in this country. I am aware of the fact that this country is in this earth. Aware of the fact that this earth revolves around our star, the sun. I'm aware of the fact that the sun is part of our galaxy. I'm aware of the fact that this galaxy is one of many galaxies. I'm aware of the fact that there are so many galaxies that one cannot count. I don't see the end of anything. I am aware of that. They are all in my awareness. I am the nature of such awareness. I am just awareness. The entire cosmos, Brahmanda, I am aware of. Where is the distinction between Ishvara and Jiva? Where is it? Ishvara is aware of the entire cosmos. My awareness is the same. There cannot be two awarenesses. Why? Why not? Because if there are two awarenesses, then one of them will be aware of the other. And the one that is aware of becomes an object. Awareness is not an object. It is the subject. So it is very clear that the distinction between Ishvara and Jiva if taken as separate vastus, is not the vastu that I need to know. It is vastu tantram. And the vastu is just the Atma. Whether you look at it as Jivatma or Paramatma, those are just figures of speech. Perhaps entry points. There can only be one Atma. And that one Atma cannot be different from I. That is the Atma. There cannot be any other Atma. This is what is called Atma Jnanam. So for this Atma Jnanam, you don't need karma, because the Vastu is not different from you. Karma is only useful for those things that are apurna, bheda jnanam. Yeah, bheda jnanam is for apurnata, for non-completeness, knowledge of English, knowledge of computers. These are all bheda jnanam. But for the abheda jnanam, you just need to clarify any ignorance of it. Vastu Tantram. So this Vastu Tantram is the only way to know yourself. And the way to know yourself is to focus on reality. And the reality is you are non-different from Ishvara. If you want to say Ishvara has the ability to create, sustain, that is non-essential. But the essence of Ishvara, which is Brahman, is none other than you. This is the Vastu Tantra. This is why you don't need sadhanas. There is no sadhana necessary. What is necessary is removal of any confusion, any ignorance. That's all. This is what Advaita Vedanta is saying. There is nothing to be done. There is something to be known. So this has amazing implications. So one of them is that Paramanandam is not paroksha. Brahman. So this is what the Mahavakya is. You know, this is what Vedanta says. That the Mahavakya is Vedanta. There is nothing else other than Vedanta is nothing other than Mahavakya. Mahavakya means the ultimate sentence. Tat Tvamasi. Tat Tvamasi. So Tat here means My concept of Ishvara and Brahman as the very basis of Ishvara. This is what means Tat. Tat means, what does means Tat? That means that. What does that mean? That means not here, not this, but that. So the very fundamental idea that we start with is that Ishvara is not here. It is a paroksha vastu. Isn't it? The very fundamental assumption of my understanding of Ishvara is that it is a paroksha vastu. Parokshata. The quality of being paroksha. Paroksha means not here, somewhere else. This is the ignorance. This is the self-ignorance. And it is a self-ignorance because you are putting the meaning of I in a wrong place. You are putting the meaning of I in a parichanna vastu, in a limited being, as the human being. This is where you are putting the I on. This is the mistake. So as we saw that in fact you are the seer of the entire cosmos. You are. It's not that you're pretending. It's just that you don't allow that enormous thought. You don't even entertain it. But it's a fact. The fact of the matter is that in the case of Drik and Drishya, in the matter of Drik and Drishya, the Drishya is always subservient to the Drik. Always, by nature. Why? Because the Drishya is not as real as the Drik. You are seeing something, you can just withdraw yourself from what you're seeing. The seeing depends on you. Any seen vastu depends on the Drik. So the Drik, the seer, is by nature more important than the Drishya. And the only problem is that I have wrongly not taken myself as the Drik of the entire cosmos. Wrongly. I've never thought about it. And if I see this is what the Vedanta teaching is all about. Hey, see yourself. Put your eye at the right place. You're putting it the wrong place. If you do, you know what the implications are? Enormous implications. Implications are that Ishvara, that Brahman, that superpower cannot be other than you. It cannot be. It is impossible. Not the you that you take yourself to be. We're not stupid. But you as the Drik. It is the same Drik. Ishvara also looks upon the whole cosmos as a Drik, as a seer. And there is a single seer, and this is the seeing, this is the seer, you. There cannot be any other seer other than you. There cannot be. This is Ishvara seeing, and you take yourself to be as my seeing. There is no Jivatma, there is only Paramatma. So this is what is called Jnanam. Why? Because Jnanam is Vastutantram. You should see something as it really is. Not as you think it is. It is not Kartrutantram. It is not based on you. It is based on the Vastu, which is the Atma, which is you. So therefore, we can conclude from this, because this is the topic of sadhana, remember? Sadhana was, what do I need to do? Everything needs to be accomplished by doing, as we started in the beginning. So the summary of this is, you don't need any sadhana. You don't need any sadhana. So here, Swami Khandananda, in describing this, I'm just exactly following his way of presenting the vision. Briefly brings up the concept of experience. You know, this is what we all are aware of that. You know, when you say Brahmanishta, Shotriya Brahmanishta, a wise person, a Brahmanishta, one who has understood, who has the experience of totality. So he's presenting this experience in terms of this understanding. So, experience is an English word, but if you look at the words that it is derived from, it is called anubhava. Right? So we all have said it is our understanding of ourselves is based on Shruti, and then Yukti, and Anubhava. Anubhava means our own personal experience. So, this is what we say, our Anubhava is, our experience is that I am a limited being full of problems in life, every passing day, I change the whole world. What's called experience, or human experience. Samsari, in other words, samsari. Our experience is that I'm a samsari. I've got problems. Okay, this is what is called anubhava. So here, Swami Khandananda analyzes the word anubhava. Right? Excuse me. So let me complete this before we end the class. It might take a little bit more than anticipated. The word anubhava consists of two segments, anu and bhava. So anu means, so please understand this is really good stuff. Anu means the one that follows. Right? One that follows is indicated by this prefix called anu. Bhava means, bhava has different ways of expressing it. One can be what occurs, what happens is called bhava. But the same thing, bhava, also indicates, because the bhava, it is derived from the dhatu, the verb from bhu. So bhu, if you look at the true meaning in the dictionary and how the dictionary is presented, because it's very, very accurate and so on, indicates isness. So this is what is called bhu sattayam. So there's lots of dictionaries. If you look at the meaning of, if you were to look at a meaning of Sanskrit words in Sanskrit, it could be described in English, that's a different thing. But the meaning of bhava is bhu, which is sattayam. So it means what is, not what occurs, what happens, what is without happening. This is what the word bhava. Bhava means what is but does not happen. Happens means it was not there before, but now there is. So that's the meaning of the word happening. But here the word bhu means one is without happening. This is called bhava. So now the word anubhava, let's look at all of it. So the word anubhava means that an experience of what is but does not happen. That is you. Things happen to you, but you don't happen. Just think about that. Meditate on it. So anubhava, here Swami Akhandananda makes it very clear, so beautiful in the way he explains this. It's not as though you do not have the experience. When you say that, I don't have the experience that I am free and I'm complete and I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam and Shivam and all of that. All this will come about when we go through all the words of the seventh mantra. We're just building up to it. But it doesn't mean that you don't have the experience. You are, in fact, this is to be understood, that you are in the form of an experience always. You are the experience. All experiences are based on you. You are the original experience. What kind of experience? Bhava, anubhava. That as things are, you just follow them. Everything actually follows you. You are there first, then comes drishya. So the drik is in and through all the drishyas. That's who you are. So here it says that Swami Akhandananda makes a point here that one should stop this kind of a feeling that I don't have the experience. Hey, you have the experience, but you are taking the wrong experience to be yourself. You are superimposing an experience of duality, meaning of smallness on yourself. You are already the fullness. And another way to present this is, do not keep Ishvara at bay. Do not keep on harping. I don't know where Ishvara is. I don't know where he is. When is he going to help me? What is going to happen to me? When will I go? Is there another life? Shall I go? Where will I go? He is right here. It is you. He is you. You are not there. You as a person, as a human being, are not there. It is only Ishvara. You don't recognize that. That's all that needs to happen. That is the Vastu. And that is the Jnanam of the Vastu. Because it is Vastu Tantram, na Kartru Tantram. It's not based on your Karta. It is based on who you are as a Vastu. So we are concluding this. I think we will. I was just happened to be. If you want to just punctuate that. So it says, this is the vision of Paramatma, darshanam of Paramatma. And I was just looking at this yesterday when I was preparing for this class, that the very first shloka of Bhagavad Gita, after the teaching starts, the teaching, as you know, starts with the very famous 11th verse of the second chapter. That's where the teaching starts. All of the rest of that is all set up. The teaching says, Ashotyananva shochastvam pragyavadam subhashase gatasun agatasun cha nanu shochanti pandita. This is what Sri Krishna says to Arjuna. He says, you are just grieving for nothing. You don't understand. You don't understand that you are the very vastu. And there is nothing to grieve about, something which is totally free from all problems. So the very first verse after that, he explains it in very succinct form. He says, Natvevaham jatu nasam, natvam neme janadhipaha, na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam ataf param. He says that there was never a time that I was never there. There was never a time that you were never there. There was never a time that all these people, Janadipa, all the leaders that you're concerned about, were not there. And that they will never be there. Why? This is the thing. Sarve vayam. Sarve vayam means all of us, everything that is expressed in life, ataf param. Ataf param. We are the driksvarupaha, not drishyasvarupaha. And this drik is the atma, it is the param. It is anubhavaha. Anubhavaha means that it is in the form of satbhu sattayam. You are there. How he starts the whole teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. The rest of that is just an explanation of this. The very first, this one is all like the very crux of the whole thing. Anyway, so we'll continue with that. Let's see where we go from there. But Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sarve Vayavataf Param. Dehino Yasmaya Vidyam Gauvaram Yoginam Param Tatha Dehantara Prapti. Janadipa. Good. All right, good to see you all. Wonderful. I'll wait for a second to see if anybody has any questions, but I'm sure you understood everything I was talking, so if there's no questions, I take it as something that you are okay with. All right. If not, then I will see you. I sent you, I think, a holiday schedule. Next week, I don't land until Saturday night, so we'll miss the Saturday class and then the rest of it. And so we'll follow the schedule during the holidays, and then we'll start again. All right, Hari Om.